Huh? Welcome back to the show. It is November 3rd here in the great state of Iowa. Nathan Creeps joined by my co-host, Mr. Bryce Portschiller. Daylight savings time happened. October is officially over. We can lay Halloween to rest and have our livers finally move on from this
Yeah,
tragedy we've
recovery.
been. Yeah, no, oh my God, I just too old. I love Halloween, but man, I just I can't do it. I physically
I know.
can't
I
do it.
still feel weird. We parted on Friday, and I still feel weird on Monday night.
Thank
That's
God it was
that's
on a
30 for you.
Friday too.
I know. I know. Next year, I think we'll probably land on a Saturday. How these things go,
No
and
way.
I'm not sure. Maybe we just skip it next year.
We might have to. Like, shout to my brother. He won the Halloween costume contest at Roxas in Cedar Falls,
Yep.
and that's now 2 out of 3 victories he's claimed in the last 3 years. He was Doug Dimmadome this year, and it was by far the best costume up in that stage.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah, not overly impressed with Cedar Falls's Halloween dress up situation. I thought everyone was adequately dressed up, at least where we were at in Roxy, but I wasn't overly impressed. I've seen some years where that Main Street can be popping with great outfits. I thought this was kind of a down year.
I just don't.
Colby did deliver though.
Yeah, I don't even have the energy anymore to put the outfit together, and Colby certainly does. That's ridiculous. Good for him. That was back in my college days, and he did something I could never get done. Win a costume contest. I have 3 second places in my career. He's got two first places in 3 years as a 36-year-old. I don't even know how old, a 35, 36 year old. So he's trending upwards, and I'm just fine if I never have to participate in Halloween ever again. I never thought those words were coming out of my mouth.
I never would have either. You've always taken that so seriously. Yeah, definitely props to Colby. He delivers damn near every year. I forget what he was last year. 2 years ago was Smitty.
Yep, Schmitty from
Smitty Wergerman Jensman.
Yep, he was number one for SpongeBob. I don't know what the hell he was last year.
Always has a great costume though. He
Mhm.
he comes and this year he did the Doug Dimmadome from Fairly Odd Parents, and I'd never asked him how he made that, but it was a very legitimate hat. Looked like a cowboy hat with some sort of like PVC piping, but it definitely wasn't PVC
Very
piping. I don't know
sturdy.
what was on top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see a lot of dudes do like cardboard with it, and it's a complete disaster after your first stop or two. But no, he made
yeah, your dome is done.
spray painted the hat, spray painted his belt buckle, had the cowboy boots. Yeah, there's multiple times he couldn't hang out in the last couple of weeks, and now I know why. What he was up to.
Yeah, he was doing arts and crafts night. Yeah, this was definitely the easiest Halloween as far as dressing up went for us. We did a little group costume, Men in Black, which was fun. I actually wondered if I was going to get a lot of shit for dressing up in a suit. Uh, Looking, outside looking in, if I was the guy looking at the guys in Men in Black wearing a suit, I would have been like, "Oh, you are a bunch of douchebags. You just wanted to wear a suit for Halloween." And I actually didn't get a lot of bad reception. Everyone was pretty open to the fact that I mean, we did have the alien wrapped around our arms,
Hmm.
which I think helped, made it a little bit more deprecating, and then some good badges thanks to Hannah Faust. That was kind of fun to have some custom badges made. Yeah, really always fun, but I kind of agree. We're 30 years old. Hopefully there's an excuse here soon, like kids,
I
um,
well,
that we don't have to do this anymore.
I was thinking about this, Sam. Like, it's how ridiculous it is. I mean, Roxy's is it's a younger bar, but it's still like it's okay when it's not frowned upon for their quite type of bar because it's on Main Street. But like workers, some of my old coworkers from Foxbridge Golf Course were there, who are like 21 and 23, and they show up, they see me in a fucking Oscar the Grouch outfit.
Yeah, yeah.
They're thinking,
I know
what is
it's a very funny thought to see 30-year-olds in a costume. That being said, I don't know what your Instagram feed looked like, but it kind of felt like 2016 Instagram vibes for me. Like I saw a ton of people posting their costumes, and I guess I could just kind of expect after 30, especially the people that I know with kids, they were all dressed up and going to costume contests and parties, and I thought that was kind of fun actually. So maybe we're not like that unusual for doing this, but it definitely feels like we're reaching the end of where it starts to get a little bit cringe.
maybe we need a break from it. I think we've been going hard in the most groups our age the last decade,
Yeah.
and I think some people just kind of started getting into it, and then maybe that's why you see these Halloween outfits trending. I mean, we've been balls to the walls for the last 10 years
Oh yeah.
for
Yeah,
Halloween.
I mean, last year you catered tacos. This year we brought some pork, and so we got like a
Awesome.
full dinner, Jello shots, and
Mhm.
different things going on. Like I would say we threw a pretty good party, which is that's apropos for when you're 30 years old. But yeah, the thing we missed out on, Des Moines didn't do Beggars Night for the first time in
Saw that.
since 1938. And they actually did trick or treating on Halloween, which is very unusual for the Des Moines area. And so we missed out on what feels like a more appropriate adult thing to do, which is make some like hard cider and hand out candy to kids that are walking around the neighborhood, which we've done the last couple of years because it hasn't fallen on when we go up to Cedar Falls and do the party. So we missed out on that just to be a kid again, which I do like, but now I am still kind of feeling hungover.
Dude, I only had 7 trick or treaters.
Really?
I was actually really sad. I bought $30 worth of candy, and I was expecting maybe like 25, 30 kids. And it
Right. Yeah.
wasn't ridiculously cold this year like it was last year. Nope, just 7 kids. I was actually
Damn,
shocked.
that sucks.
I don't have the
Makes
best
you want.
area. It's kind of a
Yeah.
new development area, so it's not super populated yet. So I wonder.
Yeah.
But my first year living out here, we had a bunch of kids. So I don't know.
Well, it makes me wonder if trunk or treat has destroyed trick or treating. It's kind of a question that people have been raising the last couple of years. But I'll say a couple times we've done that at the Thompson's place. Seems like it's pretty busy. Seems like a lot of kids are still out there.
Good. Well,
So I wonder if it's just like you're.
the night before I was making a delivery for my job in Rhinebeck, Iowa, and it was their trick or treat. So I was there at like 5:30. It was their trick or treat night on Thursday night, October 30th, and Rhinebeck is the trick or treat capital of the world apparently. Oh my
Tons of
god.
kids.
Yeah. I mean, it
Okay.
couldn't be a worse time for me trying to make a freaking delivery driving a 27-foot flatbed trying to
Yeah.
kill a kid.
Right.
But my God, they were everywhere there. So it's there in certain areas, small towns. So shout out to Rhinebeck. That was really cool to see.
Yeah, it's fun. I definitely have seen mixed reviews on social media, TikTok, everything. Some people saying exactly what you said, where you see less and less kids. It feels like every year, lots of candy going untouched, and then there's totally like still situations where it's still alive and well. I guess it probably depends on whether or not the neighborhood has been populated with kids, and you guys are definitely in a new neighborhood, and it's up to you to recruit.
Well, we closed out the night basically at Roxy's. Kobe got his $200 gift card to Roxy. This year he actually got it. The first time he won it, never claimed
Yeah, I
gift
didn't
card.
get it.
So he actually got his gift card. We made our way over to the Classic Toads to close out the night, and we decided we had one more beer left in us, and
Yep.
the Classic Shuffle.
Didn't need it, by the way.
No, that I was talking to myself the next day. I'm like, God, if I just didn't drink that beer of Bryce, I'd be a lot better. But whatever,
me
we
too.
did it. It is what it is, and we played shuffleboard. It was Fluff and myself versus you and my brother. And what fucking witchcraft were you?
That
pitting
was
on
maybe the
were you pitting
most
on the
magical
shuffleboard?
part.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Nate, I'm looking back here. I do actually think now that Colby scored 2, maybe 4 points. I think I had 17 points of our 21.
And I was playing really well.
Yeah, you were.
that's
You were
very
playing
nice.
great.
You were smoking me. So it's God. I wish we had video evidence of what you were doing on that shuffleboard. I would slice it right in there for a couple points, and then every single time you were on the left hand side, and you would shove it to the right hand side of the shuffleboard. And I swear to God, half that puck was off the shuffleboard every single time, and it would just curve its way back into the
It always curled back
like
in.
4 or 5.
Yeah,
And
one
it
of
did
those.
it every time, not just a couple. It was every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Nate, I'm a streak shooter. There's times when in bags, in basketball, I can get really hot at something. It's not something I'll usually sustain game over game, but for a while I can get pretty hot. This happened most clearly, most aligned, also at Toads when we played like this game that was basically bags, but it was on the wall instead of like on the ground.
Oh yeah.
And I think I shut everyone out 3 times in a row. So there's something in the Toads there that really jives with me. It really feels good.
Yeah, you were grooving that night. I've been thinking about it all day. I'm like, God, what I saw was absolutely magical. And I make sure I wasn't too drunk and I was seeing stuff. No, it actually happened. So credit to your shuffleboard game. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, overall great night. Had always fun. Like I like that we have this tradition.
Glad
Truly, I do think you do it as long as you can. As much as we say like, oh, hungover, this and that, we're too old for it. I do like that we do it because eventually there's probably going to be real reasons that we can't. So I'm glad that we do it. Always fun
Yeah.
to go to Main Street.
We do get some ridiculous excuses to get together, and if for it not being on a Friday, I don't know where my soul and my liver would be, my personal state of mind. And thank God we had an extra hour of sleep to kick off this week.
Oh, I know, that was so nice. So I knew this was coming, and then totally forgot. Woke up the next day. I'm like, no way. It feels like I slept for an eternity. Daylight savings, of course.
I didn't know it till the day prior. I thought nothing of it, and then I was talking to Fluff. I'm like, shit, that's tomorrow? Huh, happened. But I remember I was talking last year about it, how they're eventually going to get rid of it, and then that conversation just disappeared. I'm actually okay with daylight savings time. I thought about it. I hated it. I like it. It's like to me, it's like the Midwest telling us it flips its depression mode time for us Midwesterners that time of the year, and we are huge advocates on this podcast for the depressing time of the year. At least I am.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go through it and enjoy spring and summer a lot more. And
I agree.
It's here life's going to suck here for the next couple of months, but I'm all for it.
I hear that. And we got back on Saturday. We were hurting. We didn't do a whole lot, and ended up watching some nature documentaries. And one of the documentaries we stumbled upon was the Animals of Yellowstone. And of course, you have the black bear, and the black bear is known for hibernating. And that's kind of what I feel like. As soon as daylight savings hits, like it's time for Midwesterners to hibernate. And
put away your social
as you
life,
can see,
recharge.
It's very dark out. Your social life, it winds down a little bit. The golfing goes indoors. The parties are a little bit less. Although I don't know. That's a whole different story. I thought I was going to be done with these holiday parties, but it looks like Darian has a bunch of stuff lined up at her dental office. So It just never ends. But I think I do agree with you. As I've gotten older, I've come around to daylight savings time a little bit.
It works well for me too, especially for my work. Instead of me having that sunlight while loading the truck, just gives you just a little bit more warmth versus getting in there at 6 a.m. when it's dark. So that helps my work life a little bit more. And maybe for me, it's an excuse to hopefully not do as much because we're always bitching about how we're always doing something and then we're complaining about it here in this podcast. And I'm sure the audience will finally beg us, take advantage of the daylight savings time and just hibernate. You're totally right.
Yes. Wind it down. We had a wild couple months, a little bit of Vegas, some tailgating, all kinds of stuff. So it is time to hibernate.
Until you hear my schedule for tomorrow. Because tomorrow's basketball. I'll tell you about my schedule as we get into the basketball start. But let's look at November 3rd weather records here for Des Moines, Iowa. We have a record high of 78 degrees recorded back in 2020. Damn, it's not too long ago. I think today got up to like 65 degrees, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty nice today.
It's beautiful today. Low temperature recorded of 7 degrees in 1991. Average high of 54.5 degrees. Most precipitation is 3.18 inches. Most snow, 2 inches, recorded back in 1901. So it's
snow is back on these record charts, I'm sure. We've had Halloweens in the past where we've had snow. So that snow is going to start creeping its way back into the show notes. And I actually got wind this afternoon that we might be in store for some snow. It looks like it's more so Minnesota, upper parts of Minneapolis and whatnot. But I think Iowa actually has a small percentage of some snow on the back end of the weekend.
I can't wait. I honestly cannot wait. We need early snowfall and early spring. That's how it should go. Not this late bullcrap snow that's coming in after New Year's Eve, and then you're suffering through damn near March. We need snow now, like we did in the golden days when we're growing up. I swear to God, there was always a white Christmas. It never is anymore. And your chance of snow on November 3rd in Iowa is only 4.6% chance. So can't wait to see what next week's percentage as that continues to go up.
Yeah, definitely going to go up. We're actually traveling next weekend to the Twin Cities, so I might. Oh my God!
Here we are again.
It's not winding down at all. I completely lied. We have so much lined up. It's unbelievable. I actually got some tickets to Grand Rapids for the early part of December too. Dude, it's wild. I think that's just part of being an adult, though. Like, it's just never ending. For? We're gonna catch the Vikings and Ravens game.
Oh shit!
Yep. So we'll actually be up in Faribault on Saturday to watch Iowa and Oregon, and then we'll head on up to the cities
Faribault.
And catch. Yeah.
What do you know about Faribault?
Will Thompson thought it was a good halfway point to hang out
It's my
and
summer spot.
hang out at the cabin for a second, and then wake up the next day and go to the stadium, US Bank Stadium. So I think that's what we're planning on doing. So we'll catch the Iowa and Oregon game up in Faribault.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, can't wait for that game. What a big week it is for Iowa. But more importantly,
I know, I'm actually pumped to get into that.
it is an important November 3rd here in the great state of Iowa as we look at November 3rd here, history, as a 1918 Baseball Hall of Famer, Bryce, Bob the Heater from Van Meter, Feller, was born in Van Meter, Iowa. Feller went on to have an 18-year career with the Cleveland Indians, leading the American League in wins 6 times, and then winning the 1948 World Series. I had no idea
Very
he was in
cool.
the league that long. 18 years.
That's a long time. And baseball careers can just go on forever.
Yes.
I forget. The Dodgers, obviously, congrats. They just won the World Series. Clayton Kershaw announces his retirement. That dude played for like 30. Played forever. I'm going to actually look that up really quick because baseball players play forever. What do you know aside from the 6 most wins in the American League and the World Series? What do you know about Bob Feller?
Don't know
I'll look
much.
this
I'm
up.
not a big baseball guy, but when I listened to the Moonlight Grand show, and they did
Yes.
an awesome episode, a 4-part series of ranking the top 100 athletes in Iowa, and he was a huge advocate for Bob Feller, rightfully so. Just raging about this guy as one of the best athletes to ever go through the state. I think he was in the top 3. If not, he might be the number 1 athlete ranked on his list. And that guy knows his information about sports, so he could be the all-time Iowa athlete.
I actually think that's a really fun episode we should do here soon. I think you and I talked about that this afternoon. Like, there's actually a surprising amount of great history in athletics. Obviously, a few in the NFL, Caitlin Clark now, but even the history over the years. And stumbling upon guys like him would be a lot of fun. So let's do that sometime soon. To your point, 18 for Feller, 18 for Kershaw. You just play forever. You don't take the beating like you do in the NFL. Kind of fun. You get to have those long careers.
Yeah, no kidding. Other news here, Bryce. November 3rd, 1917, Merle D. Hay, an Iowa native from Glidden, was killed during an invasion in France, making him the first Iowan to die in World War One.
Oh, that's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. So
Wild.
we had 2 dates when we had the first Iowan ever died in the first ever automobile crash. Now we have the first Iowan from the World War One. Crazy.
That's crazy, and God, that feels like an eternity, like a whole different world back then. So what you said, automobile, World War One. Didn't we also have one from a hot air balloon,
I don't know.
or was that an airplane? I feel like we've had maybe 3. That's
Maybe
some weird stats on this day in Iowa.
All right, let's get to some relative nowadays Iowa news. This came out last week. I saw this. Iowa and UNI announced that they're going to be playing each other again in 2009 or 2029.
Awesome.
You're for it?
Sick graphic. Love it. Yeah. Those were great games. I loved when you and I would play Iowa and Iowa State alternate years. And the graphic had David Johnson on there. Mm-hmm. What a time to be alive when he was running through defensive lines and linebackers in the UNI heyday. Clinton, Iowa product.
This is much better than Iowa playing Albany or Massachusetts or something stupid like that, okay? Mm-hmm. If you're going to do that level of competition, play your in-state rival. I know you risk a little bit more of losing a game potentially, but if you can't win that game, you're going to have bigger problems in the rest of that season, okay? Get entertainment.
I love it.
Get entertainment to kick off the season. There's always, I don't care how good UNI is, it's in-state rival. It's a great way to get electricity going through the air versus the worst team, Albany, and freaking FCS. I mean, yeah, I'm pumped up for this, and I can't believe it took this long to get back, to be honest.
I know. It's been a little while, and I just have great memories of watching those games. Couple of close to the wire. I mean, Johnson knocks off Iowa State, almost does to Iowa in that massive kick game. Yeah, I think it's great. Like one more in-state game. I was thinking this year, like I might have had the most fun during Cyhawk Week than I have in a long time, and I love the energy. Let's rev that up one more time with a UNI versus Iowa. I think it's awesome.
The Crossroads Mall in Waterloo, Iowa. It was been on a commission here for a year or two, And thank God, because that place needed to go. Next, I need to go to Cedar Falls Mall and do something with that place because it's Ghost Town. It reminds me of Halloween Town, the second episode when they return to Halloween Town. It's all gray, boring.
Mm-hmm.
This is what malls look
Mm-hmm.
like nowadays. If you're not the Coral Ridge Mall or the what's the great one in Des Moines? What am I? Jordan
Jordan
Creek.
Creek.
Is there any other malls that are actually alive in Iowa that we don't know about, like us?
It's so funny that this came up because Darian and I literally just went through this. Oh no, actually, it was Colby, Mia, and the group at breakfast the day after Halloween, talking about all the malls that have just been out of commission. I think it's only Coralville and Jordan Creek that have any kind of
Life.
anything popping. Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, so it's been out of commission here, and they're going to completely renovate the entire. I think actually no, they're going to take down the. They're not going to renovate. They're just going to destroy the structure, and they're just going to build a bunch of restaurants and living spaces there. And that's good news because a month ago I heard they were going to build a retirement home there. I'm like, if we're trying to get Waterloo moving in the right direction, and that is like the one good part of Waterloo, right there by the Chick-fil-A, the Best Buy.
Yeah, San Martin Road.
Still a little Waterloo-ish, don't get me wrong. But, it's add more cool restaurants, living places, and spice up the area a little bit. They got a great movie theater in that area, too. It's one of my favorite movie theaters in the state.
Yeah, I think that's a great use for those spaces. There was a lot of talk here in town in Des Moines about doing that to Merle Hay. You want to go to a ghost town, you walk into that mall. That'll give you the eerie backroom feeling. I don't know if you ever stumble on those reels or TikToks, but that feeling is very depressing, very eerie, and I think it's a great use. Like make those little spots popping again,
especially the towns that need it. There's a lot of Waterloo's damn near one of them. we can go down a whole rabbit hole of malls in Iowa. Spencer, Fort Dodge.
I thought we did that segment.
Yeah, we did. We ranked the top 5 worst malls. It was one of our first
Okay.
ones. We were missing out on that one.
Yeah, that's fun. That was such a core memory. When we lived in Sioux Center, our thing was drive to Lamar's, get some Blue Bunny ice cream, and then go to the Sioux City Mall. And I forget what that mall is called, but that was such a great vibe. I loved going to malls as a kid. And we still get that flavor here in Jordan Creek, but
yeah, it's weird that only 2 malls. I mean, the 2 malls that work incredibly well. Oh my God.
Yes.
Come this time of the year. Oh my God. I remember my parents were going to go to Shields after my wife's graduation from PA school. And they stepped one foot inside Shields during that. I think it was like early December or something like that, mid-December. Walked right out and said, nope, we're going back to Algona. Because the line,
they can be insane,
unbelievable, and it is. It's crazy. I drive by there all the time throughout this time of the year. Work in Cedar Rapids, and when I'm driving by the Coral Ridge Mall at like 11 a.m. on a Monday and Tuesday, the parking lot's always full.
Yep.
It does not matter.
Yep. No, you do not want to be in Coral Ridge Mall or in Jordan Creek during holiday season. This is about to be the worst time. Weirdly, also terrible during like state basketball and wrestling. You just don't want to be on Jordan Creek Parkway. There's just too many people.
I always did that when it came down to watch state basketball. Just be dropped off at the Jordan Creek Mall for the entire day, and then go watch state basketball.
Yep.
Good way for little kids to hang out. All right, Bryce, what do you got here for the Black Hawk Bridge? Us connecting one state to another.
Yeah, I actually saw this one last week too. So they're officially starting demolition on one of the Iowa bridges connecting Iowa to Wisconsin. So the Black Hawk Bridge will be demolished here soon. They've already started construction on the new bridge. But for the meantime, watching the morning news, it looks like it's going to be a pain in the butt for people that have to commute from Lansing is kind of where that starts in Iowa. And then a lot of people going to Prairie du Chien, even La Crosse, have to take this ferry. The ferry goes all day, about a 15-minute ride. But it does not sound very fun if you have to make that state-to-state trip.
So they're implementing ferry rides to help some of the people who are originally driving from one state to another.
Yeah.
It's gonna be winter here before you know it. Just
Yeah,
walk
it's gonna be
across the
tough.
ice after that.
I don't know how much the Mississippi freezes over with how much it moves, but yeah, that's an interesting thing. I hadn't even thought of that. But yeah, they just started these ferry rides. They interviewed a guy who owns a bar. And he's like, yeah, all my people, like all my workers come from Lansing. So I imagine it's just a headache for anyone that lives up there.
Oh,
so if you ever do a delivery up there, you gotta make a detour and see if you can see what's going on there.
Yeah, no kidding. That'd be such a pain in the ass. Shout out to those people though for making that life work. Damn, much different lifestyle they live out there in Eastern Iowa. Eastern Iowa is a gem. They live a
It
different
is. Yeah,
lifestyle.
there's always
Very
something going on
remote,
there.
very interesting, but it could be a headache. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
All right,
it's time.
we're in the tie. It's basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
The Ben McCollum era begins tomorrow. Drake is already 1-0. They knock off Northern Arizona. I think it was, I believe, 79-71. Jalen Quinn picks up 20 points to transfer from Loyola. He's my due for Drake this year. Owen Larson, I got some inside information from our good friend, the voice of Drake men's Bulldog, Michael Admire, giving me some good scoop about this year's team. It's going to be great tempo, a lot of fun with Coach Hendo. Owen Larson, the transfer from South Dakota State, is looking to be the guy for Drake this year, but he's out with a knee injury. Should get him back in
Okay.
December. But nevertheless, it's something that Drake culture's used to. Nobody really knows what the hell's going on for the first couple games. And next thing you know, they're 20-2, third of the way into the season. So got the job done. And they played up in Sioux Falls at the Pentagon, one of my favorite arenas in college basketball.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't know that. Yeah, they were 9-point favorites in this game. They did not cover that spread, but it makes a lot of sense now that I know that best player, one of the best players, wasn't playing. I think we've mentioned this before, but what a tough job to be an AD at one of these mid-major schools where you're always producing quality talent, quality coaches, and then those coaches in this day and age get swooped up like we saw with Ben McCollum and the Iowa Hawkeyes. So I always have a lot of respect for those people that have to reload year in and year out. So I still have high expectations. I heard from a guy working at IA Sports that he thinks that Drake's going to be pretty decent this year. There's still high hopes in the Des Moines area for Des Moines hometown team.
Yeah, a lot of respect for Coach Henderson coming from South Dakota State. Another Iowa guy, right? We clearly like doing that here, keeping our Iowans close. Great height, something that last year's Drake team didn't have. A bunch of 6'11" dudes, 6'10", 6'9" guys. The height is there. The pieces are there. If this team can get connected here soon, look for them to make a run. I think they're projected to finish third or fourth in the Missouri Valley, and some even have them winning it. UNI is up there once again, projected to win it, and that's been an absolute curse for them for the last 4 to 5 years. So
yeah, Jacobson has to be the most tenured coach in the conference, so I guess that probably always makes you a little bit more of a favorite. Saw that Bradley lost already today. They no longer have the Drake killer, Duke Dean. It's probably the usual suspects up there.
Drake killer
up in the Missouri.
Drake owned him.
Didn't he grab him one time? He nabbed him.
He got him one time last year at the Napster, but other than that, he ended his postseason Drake ended his postseason 3 times in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Iowa State is about to tip off here, I believe, at 7:30 against Fairleigh Dickinson University, the center around a school that knocked off number 1 Purdue a couple years back in the NCAA tournament. Momcilovic and the boys return. Jefferson, Taman Lipsey, some key pieces return. What's the story for Iowa State this year, Bryce? What do you expect them to do? What do they need to do differently to have late success in the season?
I got in trouble last year speaking early on the clones, and I'm not afraid to do it again. I don't know exactly. I think you still have to have the guys that make shots, right? I think that's going to be the story at the end of the season.
No Curtis Jones this year.
I'll say that one good thing for Iowa State is that even though the football season seems to be over, and a lot of people might have thought that all the fans move on to basketball season, there's a very calm confidence about this basketball team. So I actually haven't heard a lot yet. I think that's a good sign for Cyclone Nation.
I think they came into
the
season ranked 16.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure on that. Yeah, I haven't heard too much. I think last year they were a top 5 team to start the year or something, or maybe top 10, top 5. Usually a lot of preseason hype, and I think they're teetering that right level where there's not too much expectation, but you're still ranked. Somewhere we kind of you can lurk in the shadows a little bit and watch them make a run. And Ottenberg will have this team to go. They'll be ready to go early in the season like they always are.
Yeah, I fully expect them to have a great season. I do need to dive in. I need to see a couple games. I know that that's not a very official, media members' take on things, but I would like to see just, what the momentum or what the vibe of this team feels like and the early season momentum to really get a gauge, because I saw so many good things last year, had really high expectations, but just hasn't quite worked out like in the tournament. These teams always feel like Sweet 16, Elite 8 contenders, and it just kind of fizzles out there.
Oh, there's a curse in the state of Iowa when it comes to the state tournament. It really is. And you got it. I'll be wearing this tie in Carver Hawkeye Arena tomorrow for the Ben McCollum era. And I kept a promise to my word to the university that when they make a decision to finally make a change in the program, I will invest back into Iowa men's basketball. And that's exactly what Beth Getz did. And here I am, season ticket holder with my brother, and I will not be missing the first game. I got to go, Bryce. I got to go damn near Minnesota tomorrow. Cresco, Shell Rock, make deliveries, go all the way back to Cedar Rapids, get loaded back up, go all the way back to Janesville, Iowa tomorrow, drop off, go all the way back to Cedar Rapids, grab my car, and go to Iowa City to make sure I make this game tomorrow night at 7:30 tip-off in Carver Hawkeye Arena. That's how excited I am.
Wild day.
Could you imagine me doing that for Fran McCaffrey? No way.
No, and rightfully so. Yeah, it was time. I just think there's such a fresh energy. New student section actually got quite a bit of hits on our page as we semi-roasted, I guess. We saw the early pictures of that new and improved student section. What did you think when that got finished?
It looks a lot better. I'll be able to give you much better update tomorrow when I'm actually in the arena. I sit right near the student section, actually. I'm one section over, so I have a close-up look, and I like the idea of what they're doing. It's a step. Now, like we said, it's a baby step, but
yeah, first you build it, and then they come.
Doesn't do you any good if they're empty, Yep. And we got to get students to the game, and it might be kind of tough this week with all eyes on Oregon coming to town.
I know, and admittedly, I have not paid a lot of attention. I definitely was keeping an eye on scores today. I will for Iowa State tonight. I have not done a deep dive into what the basketball season has in store for the state of Iowa yet, because I am very, very pumped about what we have in store this weekend.
Yeah, Iowa's going to be lacking some size this year. It's the Drake Hawkeyes, but you still have one of the best point guards in the country, Brendan Hazen, a great shooter from Kansas State. And listen to this, Bryce. They tip off against Robert Morris tomorrow. Robert Morris was only a couple of points away from beating Kentucky last year in the NCAA tournament. Now,
yeah, good test, maybe.
It's a tough test to kick off your season. I think it really is. Yeah. It's a no win for Iowa because you look at it like, it's Robert Morris, but if you look back at the history, there's some dudes there. Luckily, we stole their best player, who was a Horizon Valley or Horizon League Player of the Year last year. I forget what his name is. It's something crazy, but he'll be starting for Iowa tomorrow, not for Robert Morris.
Nice. So, that's good.
Connection.
Yeah, and he's got something to prove against the former team, so that's always a leg up. Yeah, size definitely worrisome. You just mentioned that Drake didn't have that size in the Missouri Valley. Well, things do not get shorter as you get into bigger conferences, so that is definitely like something early onset I'm thinking of in the early parts of the season. Bennett Sturtz is the storyline. He is going to be a Big Ten Player of the Year in some capacity, All-American, guarantee it. He has the game for every level, in my opinion. He played great in the tournament. Like, if there's anything about Iowa sports that I'm excited about, it's watching a Bennett Sturtz and McCollum-driven basketball team.
And that's why I'm wearing this tie. I'm just so juiced to go inside Carver Hawkeye tomorrow for the first time in a very long time. To watch this basketball. Let's watch a team that's actually really coached mid-game, not just thrown out there like a bunch of hoopers and street ball. There'll be some strategic planning behind this, and looking forward to it. All right, let's move on to the big guns here, Bryce. The buzz in the entire state stretches from here to the west coast of Oregon as the Oregon Ducks, number 6 ranked team in the country, comes to town to looking forward to taking out the Iowa Hawkeyes at Kinnick Stadium, where top 10 teams go to die. And Indiana was not top 10 when they came to Kinnick earlier. They got away with it. Oregon, you're number 6. You fall into that category of what Jim Harbaugh coined. Top 10 teams go to die. And I'm doing my best, Bryce, to get through this week because I'm going to be losing sleep every night thinking about this game.
I've been thinking about it for 2 weeks. Having that bye week right into the biggest game of your year, it's hard not to think about what's going to go down at Kinnick. There's been so much talk about Iowa recently, and it's deserved. Like, playing great against Indiana and then routing your next two opponents, not getting a little bit kind of getting snubbed by the AP polls, which almost I think works to our favor in some ways. I have a lot of faith. There's not been a lot of faith when it comes to big games and people coming to Kinnick. That's finally changed. And I don't want to get my hopes up too high because I know what's possible with Oregon, but what's your official prediction for the game?
You know, you look at Iowa's history here in the last how many years since 2021. Iowa can't win the big game. We can't do it.
Yeah.
Now, have we been more competitive this year in the big game? We've only had one sample size, and that's Indiana. And that game itself is a whole nother team I've witnessed versus previous years versus the Michigans, the Ohio States, where you don't even stand a chance when you step on the field with these guys. And now you add the Kinnick factor on top of it. Okay. There's no doubt in my mind this team can compete. Is Iowa going to do something fucking stupid again and turn the ball over on the first possession of the game like they did against Penn State and Indiana and let these teams in the game? I hope God not. You cannot do that against Oregon. Oregon is a whole beast itself when it comes to offense. The number one or number two, I'm not sure, it's the USC ranked offense in the country. You cannot afford to get behind. We somehow did it against Indiana, came back and actually took the lead, which is mind-boggling. So it gives me a little hope, but let's just not even mess around with it. But until Kirk Ferentz proves me wrong, I'm not backing him up yet. Kirk, I still am doubting you.
Yeah, I think you have to. I was going to say, I mean, the recipe for that early turnover and kind of fighting from behind does seem to be working. I kind of agree. You probably don't want to get in that mode in this game, but I agree. You cannot give Kirk any credit. It has been the secret formula. Keep him on his toes. Maybe if he has his first top 10 ranked opponent win in however many years, maybe we give him the credit. But there are two of the biggest games coming up in the next 2 weeks, and I have a really good feeling about this team. It's the best I felt about Iowa in so long. I'm worried that I'm going to get my hopes up and it's going to come crashing down.
Come back down to earth. Come back down to earth. The biggest factor of this game is it's not an 11 a.m. kickoff, which everyone was so terrified of Big Noon coming the Iowa City. If Big Noon comes here, it's likely going to be an 11 a.m. But it's the best case scenario. Big Noon is coming to Iowa City, and they will be broadcasting the Penn State-Indiana game. Instead, Iowa will likely be on CBS, potentially even Big Ten Network, for a 2:30 kickoff. Bryce, let me tell you, I'm a beast inside Kinnick Stadium, okay? 11 a.m. Nate is nothing compared to 2:30 kickoff Nate. And that goes for 70,000 other fans inside that stadium.
Yeah.
That's going to make every ounce of their energy to make Oregon as uncomfortable as you possibly can. And that 2:30 kickoff is massive when halftime hits.
And you've brought up the stat that I was 5-0 when there's night involved, and I think that plays heavily in our favor this week.
There will be night involved again. There was just a little bit of night involved at the Minnesota game, a lot more night with daylight savings time, and a little bit later in the year here. And the goal here is just to keep the fans engaged in the game as long as you possibly can. That is it. Yeah. That is it. And no turnovers. Just can't.
Yeah, I think you got it nailed down. You cannot go down. You can't go down early because Oregon has the potential to boat race you. So you need to keep the fans engaged. Just stay within striking distance. We did see a comeback against Penn State, which is very unlike Iowa when it's a double-digit lead. I wouldn't want to test our luck this week.
No.
So I totally agree. There's something about November and Kirk Ferentz. I believe him and the team of Michigan are 11-2 in the last 4 or 5 years, however many years it is, a couple of years. And nobody else in the nation has that winning record. And I want that to continue. And it needs to. We have the 2-3 biggest games potentially of the season, especially as you keep stacking wins. We're going to be in that conversation for the college football playoff. I'm getting ahead of myself again. I'm sorry.
God, see, I almost want Iowa to lose so I don't have to fucking worry about this college football playoff shit. That's being one game. God, if you just had one less loss, I'd be so much more comfortable knowing that you can give up one potentially and still get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's driving me nuts. I almost want Iowa to lose so I could just move on. I'm like, I don't have to worry about it no more. But that's not the case. We still have a chance, and this is the biggest game since the 2015 Big Ten Championship against Michigan, where Iowa has this chance to elevate its brand, and get that monkey off its back and get the job done.
Yeah, I saw Barstool Hawkeyes tweet out something about the irreparable damage that Brian Ferentz did to our national image, and I just think that truly, let's say Oregon doesn't go our way and we are able to knock out a couple more wins at the end of the season. That's a good season. Like, it does feel like Iowa turned something around midway through, end of September, October. So there's building blocks again, and I'm ready to say it. I'm not ready for Kirk to be gone, and I think that's the emotional side of me. I see him choking up at every interview for the past 5 years, even more so this year. Just I see an old man on the field, and I love him, and I want him to stay.
Yeah,
and if he keeps winning, I'm going to ask him to stay.
yeah, I'm emotionally attached to him, but I know he listens to this podcast every night. And Kirk, you got to prove me yet, brother. I love you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the job's not finished.
Get the job done this weekend. It's going to be one of the most electric atmospheres in Kinnick Stadium history.
Any thoughts on the fact that the Oregon Ducks fan base has been a little bit too nice online?
Yeah, dude, it's weird. I'm all in on Oregon Twitter, and Oregon Iowa fans have been drilling pretty well with each other.
A little too well, maybe.
It doesn't surprise me because they're so far away. You don't want to hate them like you are with Nebraska. It's like they're almost on another planet, so it's like it might as well be nice to each other. We're not breathing the same air.
True.
You start touching states, and things start getting a little weird.
You got to think, a couple more years with the Pac-12 and Big Ten merger, you're going to start having some blood in the water.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there has been enough of that yet.
No.
Everyone's too nice. I saw that with USC and Nebraska too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of that.
Good. Maybe it's working out well for Oregon liking us a little bit more, and they want to be a little bit nicer to us. Hopefully it's not working the opposite way. But looking forward to seeing how many Oregon fans come, actually. Curious.
Yeah, you got to think with the top 10 team, one of the better offenses, you got, almost at this point, they seem like a shoe-in, win most of your games and you're probably in. I bet they travel. Let me know. I'm curious. I want to know the full recap. I hope we spend a good amount of time on this game, especially if things go well. Just every part of the environment from tailgate, game, Oregon fans, everything.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
It's going to be an awesome Saturday in Iowa City. Where it's not been so awesome on Saturdays is Ames, Iowa. I mean, Iowa State has now lost its fourth straight game, Bryce. Started 5-0, loses fourth straight. That fourth loss coming to an unhealthy Arizona State out their star receiver and their star quarterback Levitt. And there's just no more excuses for Iowa State. You're banged up, but so is this Arizona State team. The thing with Iowa State was, they lost some players early in the year. You took a loss, and they just could not bounce back. And once you just take that 1 or 2 or 3 losing streak, man, you're no longer derailed. You are destroyed.
Yeah, wagon is completely without wheels. The swagger is gone, and that sucks. Like, especially when you have a senior, a guy that's seen the Big 12. He's weathered storms. He's had a ton of comeback wins. You don't expect that with a team with a little bit of an upperclassman quarterback, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's a disaster. Like, they have a chance to win the game at the end there. They run a 2-yard route, which I don't know if that was the receiver's fault. I don't know if that was
fell over short of the sticks.
Whose fault it was, but it's like, God, guys, like, so many times it felt like BYU game was in reach. It felt like this comeback victory last weekend was there. Just really disappointing from the Cyclones.
It's frustrating for them because it's such a flip of the pancake. Last year you finally go over that hump. You have all these comeback wins. You have all these key clutch drives from your leader Rocco Becht, and now Rocco is 18 for 36 in the game, 50% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Just hasn't looked like himself ever since the Arizona game early in the season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you got to think, we've said it a couple times. It's probably 2 NFL receivers going up to the next level, and just kind of maybe not having as much trust in your guys. And obviously during that game, scary moment with Brahmer, and it sounds like he's good. Got out of the ER and everything, doing a lot better. But yeah, I mean, just not the same swagger from the team that you just saw, where they were never out of it last year. And it just kind of seems like the light has been doused a little bit. Bummer for the state of Iowa because it's fun. I love having more than one team to cheer for. But here we are.
Now they go to TCU, who's one of the best offenses in the Big 12, one of the best quarterbacks, in my opinion, and almost I'd say top 10 quarterback in the country. And, it could be a good thing for Iowa State. Now you literally lost all expectations. You got no one on your ass anymore. I mean, sure, they're on your ass, but like you lose this game, like, oh, we expected a situation. It's maybe what Iowa State needs.
Yeah. Haven't seen TCU play since they boat raced UNC at the beginning of the game. They looked great then. I'm not sure who's been injured, how they've played really since, but sounds like formidable opponent.
TCU.
What are they ranked in?
I don't know if they are ranked. Maybe
Or,
they should be. They're like,
what's their?
Actually, no, they're not. I think they're like 6-2. But TCU opens up as a 5.5 point favorite.
Okay, 6-2.
Yeah.
Pretty far down. The Big 12 is pretty competitive. It's so hard to gauge. Cincinnati looks great one week, then they fold. Okay. Sorry. I had to pull up those Big 12 standings. My apologies.
Nope. The most important thing for Iowa State right now is that it's basketball season. It's coming at a good time for them. It's good Lord knows they need it for the souls. And I listen to Chris Williams all the time. I mean, you could just feel it in his soul how dejected they are.
I know.
And you got a leader like Rocco. But it's different from Iowa wanting to bench Cade McNamara than wanting to bench the face of your organization, right? Rocco Beck's someone you respect and you will go to war for. Cade McNamara, I don't get the hell up. Get him the fuck out of the stadium. I don't give a shit. Rocco Beck, how do you do that? It's crazy that it's come to that situation where, hell, even the first week we were talking about, is this guy going to win the freaking Heisman?
I know he looked so good. He looked amazing. He was making guys around him better. Just complete different story. And yeah, you make the whole fan base is in love with him. You have so many good seasons last year, and yeah, it's like hard to want to move on, but I'm sure that some fans are. You know what I really hate is that the script is flipped. Like Iowa's now on the uphill trajectory, and Iowa State's kind of
crazy.
Season's in the toilet.
It's crazy how quickly that happened since Cyhawk
Yeah,
week.
and just the bitterness and kind of the pettiness online. It's kind of funny. I'm just like, see so many cheap shots to Gronowski, like he doesn't have the stats, this and that. I'm like, guys, like we know that you're just kind of pissed off that Iowa State's 5-4 now.
We're their punching bag for the time being, and just take the punch and just move on and just enjoy what Iowa has going for it right now. And I'm in a no Iowa State world this week with Oregon coming to town, so looking forward to that. Iowa State goal, you just finish 7-5, I think. Finish a race and go win a bowl game. Get the 7-5 and get your bowl win and inject a little bit life back into your program, because Rocco's your dude next year. He still has another year, right? You don't want this. You can't have a downfall like this.
Yeah, see what kind of receivers you can get in the portal. Maybe stock up on that defense. There's seems to be some gaping holes every once in a while. So, yeah, definitely. There's years Iowa's had those like maybe not the season you want, but there's nothing to be upset about with a 7-5 and a bowl victory.
At this point of the season, no. Early in the season, yes, fans will look at it as a huge thing, but it is what it is. You got to adjust as the season moves on. All right, Bryce, we're going to be ranking our top 5 favorite breakfast joints here in the state of Iowa.
Yes, great segment.
This is
very
great
fun,
segment.
very fitting.
And I did put one Des Moines, one in there. That's more of your area. So I know there's got to be a million of them in Des Moines. And
tons. Yeah, I mean, I have some honorable mentions here. I have a couple Des Moines that I left some of them off. There's just a ton. So I did try to go around the state a little bit. I'm not sure, I haven't been everywhere, so I don't have every corner covered, but
we're not
tried my
JJ.
best.
We haven't gone all 99 counties 3 different times. Okay, we're not that.
Right.
We go to Cedar Falls, Iowa City, Des Moines, in our hometown.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even include anything from Pella. There's a great little windmill cafe down in Pella, honorable mention.
All right, Bryce.
Other honorable mention, Nate, I'm going to just rattle these off before you list your number 5. Tin Roost in North Liberty. I love the Tin Roost. Not sure if you've ever been there.
Drive by it all the time.
It's great.
That's it.
Honestly, had one of my favorite brunches ever. Waveland Cafe, Des Moines. Really tough to get into, really small. You're going to wait. Awesome place if you ever get the chance. And then Early Bird, Des Moines. One of my favorite. Little chorizo breakfast taco hits every time.
Yep, you got to have the name Bird in there. Makes sense because Bryce, my number 5 is the Bluebird Diner in Iowa City.
Okay.
it's very nostalgic to me because it's one of the. I was never a big breakfast person, kind of growing up, and one day I remember going to the Bluebird Diner downtown Iowa City, small, dinky little
Yep.
area, and I just had a great time there. Great vibes with friends. I enjoyed my experience there, and the food might have been average. I can't remember. It was a long time ago, but I just remember. I feel like this is what breakfast is about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The gathering of friends
Mhm.
and a little ray of sunshine, maybe in a bleak morning. Yeah, that's valid, and I have one of those on my list too. You gotta have those. Number five. Speaking of a ray of sunshine, one of my favorite memories together when we were doing the Tenderloin tour, Mama J's.
Mm.
Mama J's delivers a fastball, no junk breakfast, and I love it. And Mama J herself delivered us a cookie right to the table, chatted with us for a little bit. Special breakfast vibe in Cedar Falls, especially when you're a college student there.
Hey, so I'm going to cut you off just because this story makes sense now. Uh, my number
Okay.
my number four is a tie between Gravy's Diner and Mama J's, and
Okay.
we all remember the Great Plain hoax of Troy Mills, Iowa, right? Doug.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Doug knows Mama J. Doug has
Oh,
spent some time partying with Mama J back in the day.
really?
He has nothing but great words to say for Mama J, and I'm sure Mama J has a lot of fun stuff to say about Doug. So I've always
Yeah. Would she have the same things to say about
I
Doug?
have. He's like, make sure you say hi to Mama J if you go up there and see her. I've been waiting to see her, but I haven't seen her since I've been back. And but well, old time lady, right? The
She is.
caretaker.
She's truthfully like the nicest. Like it's like a grandma away from home.
I've had a
Um,
yeah.
Loved her.
She looks just like SpongeBob's grandma a little bit. Um, I had in the best possible way.
Yep.
I remember my 21st birthday party. We had the party bus the day after all 20, a bunch of us went to Mama J and
Uh-huh.
welcomed all of us with open arms, treated us so incredibly well. She was like, oh man, I'm going to get you guys some pitchers of water, knowing that we
Yeah,
were
she knew we were
hell last
struggling a little bit. Yeah.
night. So great,
Yeah.
great
So
place.
kind of just like a pillar of University of Northern Iowa. Just a
Yes.
great spot. Circling back.
Go ahead for number four.
Okay, Sunshine Family Restaurant in Dubuque. This is a complete nostalgic play. There's nothing fancy about it. I'm going to throw up all the images so you can kind of get the vibe from all of our spots. This is a nostalgic play because my family would stop here on our way up to Wisconsin. So it was always like the exact thing you needed right before a big road trip. And it holds that spot for no other reason other than I liked it as a kid.
Cool. Shout out to Dubuque. I'm glad you grab one from the Dubuque. By no, you go back for number three.
Provisions and Ames, getting a little ritzy here. This is definitely like
Damn,
a
you're
more
old.
upscale brunch spot. I am. Yeah,
Like this.
I love Provisions. I will say I'm normally like a bacon, egg, and cheese bagel or just, sausage and an egg kind of guy. But Provisions, they got a real deal brunch going on. Honestly, great pretty much any time throughout the day, but I'd say brunch is my favorite.
Quite the name.
Provisions, lot F.
Interesting. Yeah, you got some funky names here on this list. All right, Bryce. My top three I'm really excited about. Okay, you can honestly take my word for these places. My number three is Lucky's on 16th in Cedar Rapids in the Czech Village.
Ooh, I did see that one come up.
It's not just a breakfast place, but oh my god,
Yeah,
oh,
I've been to Lucky's. Lucky's is good.
some of the best mimosas I've ever had. I had got a
Mm.
flight of mimosas there one day, and that's where I fell in love with like strawberry mango mimosas. So the vibe there was they set the tone for the vibe, and then you threw an awesome chicken and biscuits on top of it. Oh my god, like great place. Location,
Mm-hmm.
well, you're in Cedar Rapids. You're gonna
Hey, Czech Village is cool. I'll say
yeah.
that about Cedar Rapids. Czech Village is cool.
Yeah. Okay. So it's area right. You're still in Cedar Rapids. It is what it is. But Lucky's on 16th. I promise you're gonna get great food and a great vibe if you hit it at the right time. Love that place.
Makes me want to go back to Lucky's.
It is
Love
great.
that place.
My number two, Bryce, is we're going back to Algona, my hometown baby. One of the all-time classics, the Chrome. Oh baby, the number two
Ooh.
special, two sausage patties with some some pancakes and eggs. Oh god, you get your bang for your buck here too. Well, let me tell you, fella, you're gonna be full if you eat everything that comes on that plate. They treat you like a giant. Okay, every 2-a-day practice, we go to practice in the morning. The entire damn football team went to the Chrome after. Drink a shit ton of Mountain Dew, eat our breakfast, get geared up for the second practice of the day, and I would never change it for any other place.
Man, that's such a. I have a lot of respect for you, including a hometown restaurant, because they're not always the best
It's great.
breakfast
It's
or
a
brunch
great
that you
one.
have. But yeah, okay. And I totally am putting myself back in that moment. After a football game, going to the Windmill Cafe in Pella, and just like, man, I can't believe I didn't include that on my list. The Chrome. I remember driving past the Chrome. Didn't try the Chrome when I was in Algona.
Yeah, so the Chrome used to be attached to, well, the Chrome itself was the gas station back in the day, and then Sinclair bought it outright. And guess what they did? They leased that they raised the price for the Chrome for the renting, and it was outrageous. So he says, "No way, I can't do this." So they moved out, and they let the IHOP come in and take its place over. But
What a
the
travesty.
Chrome did not back down. They bought the old Godfathers in Laguna, and they're vibing just as better than ever.
Love that. Okay, the Chrome was one of the better picks on your list so far. That's awesome. What a story. What a comeback story. I don't think this is the same kind of vibe as the Chrome here, because Motley School Tavern has been around Des Moines for a very long time. But I've recently discovered it within probably the last year and a half, thanks to Jeremy Young. One of the best
Got to be bougie.
breakfasts I've had. Oh yeah, it is. But it's old school bougie. It's not like a super fancy, new build kind of thing. It's like that old school, old money bougie.
There we go.
And it's one of the only places I've ever ordered a chicken fried chicken. But oh baby, that is one of like my favorite breakfasts of all time. But it's got to be done right, and Motley School Tavern does it right.
We had chicken fried chicken for my first time at Berkey's wedding down in Texas, and they did it right down there. So I'm scared to try it back up here in Iowa.
Yeah, we'll take you there sometime,
Okay.
but it's going to be hard to beat what I circle back with here, the Drake Diner. This is a true staple. I would go to the Drake Diner every day of the week if I could. I used to go once a week with DJ. I seriously would go to this place every single day. It's meat and potatoes, but I do go with the corned beef hash. This is a Drake staple, but it's also a Des Moines staple.
Bryce, you already know my number one. It's the Drake Diner. I don't even know what I get there, but it doesn't even matter because the vibes are so nostalgic. I feel like you're back in the 80s, and they've really kept that place traditional of how it's always been, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right there on Drake campus, and I think it's everybody's favorite. It has to be.
I mean, there is a million places to go for breakfast in Des Moines. Mullet's wasn't even mentioned. Fresco. There's a ton that I was looking up. I'm like, man, I've been wanting to try those eggs and jam, but I just have a hard time going and exploring because I know exactly what I want, and that's the Drake Diner.
Drake Diner, one of the all-time classic breakfast joints in the entire state of Iowa. And I think everybody that's somewhat knowledgeable in the breakfast world here in the state would hop on that train with us.
Yep.
It's taking care of, I mean, all these breakfast joints have taken care of some great hangovers in the day, but Drake, especially my bachelor party the day after.
Yep. Much needed, right? Propel us right into a great, one of the better days of golf in my life because it was like 72 and sunny. Yeah, Drake, you don't usually have a bad day if you start it with Drake Diner.
No, I don't think I ever have. Love that place. Great
Tons.
list.
You know what would be really fun? Yeah, you mentioned JJ already and not having gone to all 99 counties. I think that would be maybe the most rewarding 99 county trip. If you went to like everybody's, like the best diner in every county, you would have so much fun. There's something about it.
Would you get the same food every time though?
Probably not.
I'd be like, what's the recommendation here?
Exactly.
I
think that's what I'd want to do. I'd want to take in the town,
I'm trying
the
something
people,
different.
and just kind of go off the vibes of what people tell me to get.
So many breakfast joints in here in Iowa. Certainly, a lot of them deserving to be on this list. That we don't venture out too much apparently because there's no way in hell I'm not going to go to the Drake Diner when I'm in Des Moines next time.
Yep, 100%. It's funny, right? Like we literally have just said like 100 times how busy our schedules have gotten, but apparently we only go to like 3 places. Yeah, and Western Iowa. I do apologize.
Our top 5 ranking today is the 5 places we only go to.
we've been, so that's unfortunate for Harlan. I did back in the day. I did go to Harlan for a delicious tenderloin. So there is some Western Iowa representation somewhere in my being. It just has been quite a few years.
I didn't give enough shout out to it, but my number 4 that tied with Mama J's was Gravy's Diner. Yep, you were there for the first time, weren't you?
Just went to Gravy's
Okay,
on Saturday.
okay.
Gravy's was awesome.
Yes, you get to watch them cook. I love that part. I can watch them cook. I love it.
I got something really, really weird.
Did you?
I grabbed 2 eggs, over easy, and a half-pound hamburger patty. No bun, no nothing. Just that was like my side. Instead of bacon and sausage, I just had a half-pound hamburger. It kind of worked. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, surprised I had it on the menu, but it was good.
Yeah, great place to, and obviously attack your post Fridays and watch them cook food. But one of the hardest I've ever laughed in my entire life was in that diner with my brother. I'm sure he told you about it.
A tough place to have the giggles because everyone in the world's gonna hear it.
It's tight. Yeah. We were laughing uncontrollably. But and memories like that, what make places special.
Yeah, Gravy's was solid. Yeah, you had Gravy's and Mama J's tied at 4.
Yep. Okay. I kind of picked between the 2 here in Cedar Falls, but Mama J's has definitely had a much larger impact on me. It's just so hard to get into nowadays. It's so popular, so small.
Yeah, a lot of the really good ones are kind of small.
That's
same with Waveland Cafe.
If it's too big, that's a little suspicious. I don't like that.
I agree.
Not much.
It's like you're an industrial breakfast place.
There's not much love. Crap. I need more love going on in the cooking of my pancakes. But great list. Great episode. I hope when y'all see our faces next week, we're alive and well and positive like we have been for the last couple of weeks with these Iowa football. This is gonna make or break my life here.
I know. It was tough for me to stay focused on the rest of the show because truthfully, my entire brain, it hasn't been on basketball. It hasn't been on Iowa State at all. Definitely not Drake and UNI. It has been on Oregon coming to Kinnick. So thanks for bearing with us. Thanks for watching. Fun list. Anything else, Nate?
Yep. I'm glad Halloween's over and I'm still recovering. And it's a much better life is moving ahead here with no more holidays until really Christmas, the party for.
Yep. 100%. All right, people. Adios.
Just west of the Mississippi.